battle of Macs versus PCs, and many people are passionate to argue their point. Today we have been two professionals to help discuss the advantages and disadvantages of both. So I'd like to welcome here a lady who's used PCs all her life, Patricia Campbell.
Hi everyone. And
also a Mac genius here, Marianne.
Hi.
So Patricia, would you like to start off?
Okay. Sure, well I've had many people over the years ask me whether they should buy a PC or a Mac, and the first thing that I ask them is what price range they're looking for. If you're looking for a decent computer under $1,000, I always recommend a PC because you can get a good quality PC for under $1,000. Once you reach over the $1,000 bracket, Macs start to come into play, but I would still recommend a PC because when you compare, say, the same type of Mac to the same type of PC, so they have the same specs, the PC is still way cheaper, so I would always recommend a PC. For example, if you compare these two computers, got the Apple MacBook Pro and the HP Pavilion DM4, you can see that they pretty much have the same specs. So they've got the same processor, same graphics card, same amount of RAM. The PC actually has more gigs in the hard drive. The PC screen is a little bit bigger. Yes, there's a few differences, but basically the same. And then look at the price, and the PC is obviously much cheaper. So that's just one example of how PCs are much cheaper than Macs.
That's an interesting point, Patricia. So Marianne, have you got anything to say?
Yes, David. There's a reason that Macs cost more, and it's all got to do with the better quality hardware. Macs are made from top quality aluminium and glass, which means they're a better computer from the inside out. They're also made from recyclable materials, meaning that they'll cost more, but it's actually an investment in our environment. So it costs more, but it's a lot better for the environment. PCs are cheaper because they use cheaper parts, which means they're not as good quality.
It's really expensive to upgrade parts, and it actually works out cheaper just to replace the whole machine, which is pretty expensive already. For PCs it's quite easy and cheap to replace parts, and you can even build your own PC from scratch.
Now I'd like to move on to the issue of security. So it's well known that Macs don't get anywhere near as many viruses as PCs, and part of this reason was for the respect by hackers for Steve Jobs and his operating system. However, since his death, it's suggested that this may change. So what are your views on this, Marianne?
Well, yes, David, this has been speculated. However, I don't think there'll be a massive influx of viruses in Macs. It has been suggested that there will be an increase in viruses from this year onwards, so from 2012. It's actually one reason why Macs don't get many viruses, and one of them is to do with the inbuilt virus protection software that Macs come with. Another reason is hackers tend to use and therefore hack PCs.
Well, really the only reason that Macs tend to not get as many viruses is because only 14% of Australia actually uses a Mac. That means that the rest are PC users. So there's bound to be more viruses if there's more PC users.
Apple writes its own operating system. So Marianne, is this an advantage Mac has over PC?
Yeah, it is. Because Apple makes both the operating system and the drivers, it makes for a much more stable and cleaner system. This means that Macs boot up faster and they're a lot less likely to crash. iLife software comes with every Mac and enables you to manage your photos, videos and music between your different Apple devices. Now, almost everyone owns an iPod these days, and although these can be integrated with PCs, they're a lot more easily managed on a Mac, and you can also integrate your photos through iPhoto and movies through iMovie, as well as the music through iTunes, all onto your iPod, which makes it a lot easier on a Mac. This software integrates seamlessly between your different Apple devices, and now with iCloud it's even easier.
Well, you see, I think that the fact that Apple writes its whole operating system and also all its drivers itself is actually a disadvantage. The different types of operating systems and drivers available for PCs, so that's including the plethora of Windows operating systems and Linux and other variants, means that there are more choices for consumers, making PCs a more flexible option. For those who wish to create their own operating systems, PCs offer this choice. Due to the fact that there are many more PC users in the world, there is a larger selection of software available. This also includes games. So there's many more games that are made for PCs, and even though these games are eventually converted so that they can be used on Macs, they were first and foremost created for PCs, which means that there will be better quality on a PC. Having Having so many options and combinations makes PCs customisable, whereas Macs are a set package with little options that users can customise and select from, which means that PCs are the better choice.
We've seen both positive and negative points in both Mac and PC. I can't really see a clear winner, and I think that in the end it's just down to personal preference. I'd like to thank you both for coming to the race, and thank you Marianne, and thank you Patricia.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.